He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Welcome back to another episode of the... Where'd that go? The Ministry... Wait. Hold on. The Ministry of Truth. I am your host, Javi. A little slow today, but it's okay. What I want to do, I'm going to start off with our greatest diversity hire ever in any administration. Her name is Karine Jean-Pierre, and she's here to tell you, once I find it, a little bit about her boss and his visit to a certain place called Maui. Well, we'll get to Maui in a minute, but let's see what Karine is going to say about our president.
Given what the administrator said about the perils of the president traveling to Hawaii now, does he want to travel there eventually to survey the damage and meet survivors?
So obviously I don't have anything to announce at this time. Look, we're going to continue to have conversations with the administrator, certainly the governor in Hawaii.
So what you're telling me is the president has no plans on visiting Hawaii after this devastating wildfire that cost, I think 100 people so far their lives? Okay. Not sure how that makes sense. But this next one should make you feel a little fucking like, what the hell, right? So you know how we love to give money to other countries, other than, our own citizens, because we don't fucking matter. We pay the taxes. Distributing the wealth, guys. Distributing the wealth amongst the warmongers. Oh, wait. So you want to hear a little more about warmongers and the president's response to Hawaii?
Just into our newsroom, the White House announcing brand new military aid to Ukraine.
Wait, that's
new
not Hawaii.
Package, which was previously authorized, includes about $200 million in military equipment, including air defense, artillery, tank ammunition, weapons, and other equipment to help Ukraine in its nearly 18-month war that Russia started. In announcing
Russia started, guys.
Secretary
Russia
of State
started.
Antony Blinken said every day Russia is killing Ukrainian civilians and destroying civil infrastructure, while also weaponizing hunger and contributing to global food insecurity through its destruction of Ukraine's civilian ports and grain infrastructure.
So the weird
Russia
thing,
started this.
when this whole war kicked off, they're like, we need to help Ukraine. We need to help Ukraine. Ukraine has a large amount of the world's grain production. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound about right. Ukraine's about as big as this. How are they the leader in the world's grain production? Well, tell you how. Because we give them more money if they produce more grain. Yet we take away incentives on our farmers here, keep raising inflation prices. Farmers can't afford to do what farmers do and provide. Way to go, USA. Hey, okay, USA.
This war and could end it at any time by withdrawing its forces from Ukraine and stopping its brutal attacks. Until it does, the United States and our allies and partners will stand united with Ukraine for as long as it takes. Joining us now for more, retired Major General William Inyard. So, General, first, what is your take on this new aid package? Thank you for hopping on with us.
Well, absolutely. Good to be with you this morning. The bulk of this package is composed of Stinger anti-aircraft missiles and
Which, if you're paying attention, I think it's earlier today. Some of these missiles, for one missile, $400,000. Courtesy of the military-industrial complex.
Those are both manpower operated. That is, they can be carried by a one person. Actually, generally it's a crew of two, a gunner and an ammunition bearer. But the Stinger has these are both what I would classify more as defensive weapons and offensive weapons. We've supplied lots of those already to the Ukrainians.
Oh, we've
The
provided
Stinger's got an
offensive
anti-aircraft
weapons.
range of about 5 miles.
So we're going to provide offensive weapons to Ukraine when they're basically they're defending their homeland. Why would they need offensive weapons? They're not marching forward.
The cost on those run about $120,000 a piece. Those have been in use by our forces since the early 80s. The Javelin, the anti-tank weapon, that has a range, if it's fired by a man, of about 2.5 miles. If you fire it from a vehicle, it's about a 3-mile range. Those run about $200,000 to $250,000 a piece and have been in use since about 1996.
Yeah, how many did you give them?
45,000 of those. So they've been
What's up,
proven
boy?
effective. They're in use by our forces and other NATO forces, as well as other nations around the world. These weapons will enable the Ukrainians to continue defending themselves against Russian tanks and Russian helicopters and slower flying aircraft.
Are you surprised by this announcement, Major General? I know Republicans
I
have been
was.
pushing back against some of this continued funding. Does this fall in line with what you'd expect?
Oh yes, this is money that's already been funded. We're simply fulfilling what we've already said we would do. So
but we still funded.
This is not new money. This is simply filling out the package that we'd already agreed to provide,
new money.
And it's an announcement of what we're sending. So this is really not any new money.
Imagine if we stopped printing money and actually had backing to our dollar again, under the gold and silver standard. How much of these countries would get free shit from us? Probably Saudi Arabia.
Going out.
All right. Retired Major General William Inyard. Thank you so much for your perspective and for hopping on the call.
Yeah, fuck you.
Absolutely great.
I mean, I meant that in a strictly not homosexual way. Yes, we've spent well over, I think close to $1 trillion, maybe more, to just send over there to Ukraine when we know we need it here. But America last, guys. But this has been going on a lot longer than Biden, so it doesn't really change a lot. Let me see if I'm moving on to the next subject. Hold on. Fuck, pause, bitch. Because I want to talk to, we're going to continue the theme on Maui. And these are actually people from Hawaii that are living in Hawaii. Not the mainstream media, not Oprah Winfrey, but we'll go into that as well as Oprah Winfrey. So what I'm going to do, this right now is going to be footage of the devastation. And I'm going to go into why the Native Hawaiians think this is actually going on. Because I don't think it was a wildfire. I think it had to have been some kind of weapon or purposely fired on fire, because look at all this land. Oops, I'm chewing my hand. All this land that had nothing on it before magically burned. Let's take a look. There's no sound. It's aerial footage. Look into the devastation. And then you see all this right here. The buildings. They were like, this is great. This is great. Imagine if we had more room for this view and we could, get some of this land, which, oh, by the way, we can't right now, but we're going to do it anyway. Another land grab. The Americans are really good at that. I mean, granted, I'm an American, but taking away precious life for profit. More of the same. And I think this was before the actual devastation. All that. This looks like controlled burning. For those of you that live in the, I guess, Central Plains, Midwest, South, you know what controlled burning is. They take the fire, they purposely start a forest fire, that comes through, burns off all the bottom brush. So if in case of forest fire or a wildfire like that does happen, it'll be a little bit harder because all that brush is gone. It's just straight black ash. And I've walked through it, and well, it kind of makes sense. And if you do it right after it's done and it's still smoking, there's no snakes. Not that I don't like snakes or anything. Uh, yeah, I'm a manly man. We're not afraid of snakes. Just kidding. Oh, that's wrong. There are snakes I'm afraid of, but those are not one of them. Let me see. I don't want to go straight to the residents yet. So we'll go with a little. Here's what I think is funny. So more conspiracy shit. Everybody says the wildfires up in Canada, there must have been something that they released into the air because a lot of people were getting respiratory illnesses. I'm loving. Thanks, Bremen. It's one of my favorite flags. And it looks like it was actually weathered. It's perfect, man. It came like that, and it's thick and heavy. Damn, man, you broke my concentration. Oh, with the forest fires in Canada, people complaining as far south as I think Georgia, maybe, about respiratory issues where like they're feeling like it's heavier to breathe. There's getting these weird, more headaches, more agitated. Okay, but how's a wildfire from Florida or Hawaii have anything to do with a newscast in Florida? I mean, it's just kind of odd. But anyway, we'll listen to this newscast and we'll see. Maybe they'll give us some good information, or maybe they'll just lie to us. We'll see.
Just beyond the flames too, as we're talking about smoke inhalation, people with respiratory issues, a lingering problem.
Exactly. So even when they put out those fires, there's plenty of smoke that's still going to be present there. And it's just so sad to see these people lose everything. And it's really impacting their health. And this is not going to be just a short-term thing.
Right.
This happens months after the initial wildfire begins. So we're going to talk about those impacts right here. Take a look. So what we can see from smoke from wildfires, you see that there's a lot of particulates typically in the atmosphere, aka there's gases and things that they shouldn't be breathing in on the island. And then also microscopic smoke particles can deeply penetrate your lungs and especially
Deeply
affect those
penetrate.
with.
So the funny thing when they're talking about all this in Iraq, and I don't really think so much Afghanistan, we had these burn pits. We literally, that's where we burned our trash, our medical waste, all that kind of stuff. We burned it in a burn pit. Those were all over Iraq. We don't know what the fuck we're burning. We just had to get rid of it one way or another. And it's not like we had a landfill.
Those with anyone with heart disease or lung disease, asthma, emphysema, diabetes. So other people with morbidities are the ones that are really that
comorbidity
left open to some serious issues in terms of health. So, and especially children as well, or older adults, they're very much impacted by all
just
this
like
smoke
COVID.
inhalation. So we're just saying our prayers and hoping for the best for everyone in Hawaii.
See?
But we begin this morning
Shut
with
the
those.
fuck up. I wasn't talking to you. So that was some of the news. And apparently there's a lot of famous people that live on the island. I didn't know that. But they do talk about it. They do. Matter of fact, we'll probably listen to some of them talking about it. Oprah, Owen Wilson, and other bunch of celebrities that obviously probably own land in that specific area, are suddenly aware.
Right now, we are in a state of emergency.
Pure devastation.
We've been pulling people out since last night.
Unbelievable and apocalyptic. The town of Lahaina in Maui destroyed by wildfires and, quote, basically gone. At least 36 people dead, more than 270 structures destroyed.
It's a lot.
More than a way.
Actor Jason Momoa devastated and heartbroken.
Oh, that's not me.
I come from
Not
a
at all.
long lineage of watermen.
Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich, who owns a home on the island, tells ET he and his home are safe.
I'm on a big mountain in Hawaii, like 3,000 feet up.
Oprah's estate, which is about 36 miles from Lahaina, is also believed to be out of harm's way.
Oh,
But
of course,
Shamar Moore's
of course.
girlfriend, actress Desiree Dizon, shared heartbreak for her hometown.
We know why
I am
Oprah's house is
from
protected.
Lahaina. Some of my family is missing. We can't get a hold of them. My childhood home has burned to
Whoa,
the
whoa,
ground.
calm down, Tommy boy.
And,
Calm down. I'll apologize.
Thousands of people have lost everything.
Maui is also home to Owen Wilson and Clint Eastwood, who directed the Matt Damon film Hereafter, which filmed on Lahaina's historic Front Street. In the 2010 thriller,
Well, they kind of predicted it. It was fire instead of water.
Burned yesterday, the neighborhood
Bet you they wish
like
they had
a
the
war
flood.
zone. Another location impacted? The Four Seasons Resort, where the first White Lotus was filmed, is strongly discouraging non-essential travel to Maui. As for the journalists covering the devastation, it's not easy when most of the roads into town are closed.
We're on a boat headed to Lahaina. This is one of the few
like.
ways to access the town. And what's incredible from this vantage point is the scale of
I don't understand. Look at all that fucking water right next to where the
completely
wildfire's at. They don't have these
Please
fucking Chinooks
keep my
that can
beautiful
lift water
Hawaiian
up,
in your prayers.
drop it on the flames. Lift the water up, drop it on the flames. But yeah, celebrities care because you'll see why. So I think right now I have everybody that's lived on, not everybody's lived in Hawaii. There's just a few people because I got interested. Like, hold on, let me see what people in Hawaii are saying. So I went to Twitter. I mean, X. I believe it's called X now. And I just did a random, search of Hawaii. This is some stuff I came up with. This one actually isn't from Twitter X. This is what got me starting to look. So this guy will tell you a little bit about Hawaii and what the media is lying about. Right? Maui resident? That's his name. We're going to call him Maui resident.
Oh, please listen to me and please help anyone that you know is affected and this message needs to get through. I know right now we feel like we've lost everything. And right now you don't see what's going on. I feel something is bigger. I've been on Maui the last 9 years. Oh.
9's a lucky number. I trust him.
Geographical location and how everything works. There was no way that a hurricane missed Big Island, went to Maui, and didn't flood them, didn't give them, crazy, other things, but it caused fires. It caused fires in not only on Maui, but it caused fires in the most precious parts of real estate in Maui. Lahaina Front Street is worth billions. The Hawaiians that have been holding out and the Kanaka have been holding out for years, not wanting to sell their property in Lahaina due to these big $1 million companies. I believe these fires were set on purpose. For whatever reason, it is not a coincidence. I don't believe how in the most precious parts of Maui, Kula, Lahaina, and Kihei, that the locals that are standing strong and do not want to give up Oprah Winfrey's view up in Kula that the Hawaiians are holding out on, that the fire was going to, the Hawaiians and the Kanaka that was holding right there on Front Street, and the others that holding out in Kihei. It's not a coincidence. The last time 3 fires were set in all locations, it was purposely. The last time something natural happened, it was in one location.
I don't believe him. Goddamn media is telling the truth. That guy is fucking nuts. There's no way a guy that lives in Hawaii would be telling the truth. Right? Right. Kind of want to hear from the governor. You want to hear from the governor? Let's hear from the governor.
Of the destruction of Lahaina, it does appear like a bomb and fire went off. It does appear like a bomb and fire went off. All of those buildings virtually are going to have to be rebuilt. It will be a new Lahaina in its own image, its own values. but it's going to be billions of dollars. We are so coordinated with state, county, and federal support that it took less than a quarter of a day, 6 hours, to get the approval from the president to bring those resources in. This was, of course, a shock to see a hurricane and its winds. I think that we're seeing this for the first time in many different parts of the world. I've been contacted by several governors across the country to share their experiences in a time.
Yeah, because they have forest fires in.
So let's just go over a few of the red flags that he said. Very coordinated. Bomb and fire went off. All we will need to rebuild is billions of dollars in its own likeness and own image with its own values. What does that even mean? And it's so coordinated with state, county, and federal support that within less than 6 hours, they got approval from the president to bring resources, hurricane-type winds that just happened to be the same time as the bomb-like fire. Governors calling to share their experience. So we start the press conference out with bombs and explosions, then set up how we're going to get some smart cities in Hawaii, and then we end it with 2030 propaganda of global warming.
Oh, right. Don't listen to that guy. He sounds crazy. I'm upset that I even thought about listening to that. Holy fuck balls. I'm sorry, guys. Fucking conspiracy theories. Again, I don't trust anybody that lives in Hawaii because why would they tell the truth? Maybe they just want some of that billion and billion dollars. So let's listen to another Hawaii resident. Listen to what she's got to say because she sounds and looks like she'd be stupid, honestly. But she makes a little bit of sense. So think!
If you live anywhere but Hawaii, this is for you. The news is lying to you. They're not telling the truth about what's happening in Lahaina. The government is stopping supply drops because they're not approved by the Red Cross or something. Bullshit. There are people looting because there's no supplies. And all that supplies that you might be donating or donating your money, the government is taking it and not giving it to the people who actually need it.
That's
the trucks
Puerto
from the
Rico.
other side trying to get to the west side are being held at gunpoint so people can loot it. Fortunately, this only happens at night, but still, like, what the fuck? Locals have to get in their boats and go around the island to do supply drops by themselves without the help of the government. That beach was where I used to live. Uncle C and these locals whose family's been there for hundreds of years have to do it themselves? This is my best friend who posted this. She lost everything. She lost everything she owned. She lost her house. I know at least like 20 people who lost their homes. And they didn't get a fucking warning. Apparently the cops rolled around once in the neighborhood. That's it. No evacuations,
Hey
no
guys, there's a
signs,
fire coming.
no sirens.
You know.
That one time when there was a nuclear missile and they made like everyone get alerts. What happened to that? Where's that when you actually need it? The fuck? People do not get warnings that their house and everything they know is about to burn down. There's no evacuation notice. There's no time.
Get 'em, Gen Z.
People were stuck in their houses burning to death. The amount of fatalities is expected to be more than 500, but less than 1,000. Many of the fatalities will be children who were at home because of canceled school. Parents worked, and the children were fucking home alone, and they couldn't leave their own house. There was the fire, and the fire department claimed that it was 100% contained, knowing that there would be 70-mile-per-hour winds by the afternoon due to Hurricane Dora. They left it there, and
That
this
fucking
shit happened. Like, what? Hotels are not giving local Hawaiians rooms because they're fucking full because of tourists.
Bruh, this is Friday about 10 a.m. and they're just, look at all these tourists.
Tourists are having fun and snorkeling while thousands of people are displaced. Hundreds of people are homeless. People are fucking struggling. There are people dead, injured, and they're having fun. Tourists are trying to visit the land while people need supplies and they're blocking the roads.
You know, that's funny.
Fucking ridiculous.
I actually believe that
If you
people
have a
are doing it
vacation-
tourist signs because what happens after a big storm? Tornado, hurricane, whatever. Oh, it's clear outside. You know what we should do? Our shit's good. Let's go drive around and see what else happens. Guilty. Guilty. That's what she addressed Denise with the missiles.
Vacation to Hawaii soon, please.
Crazy. Don't trust her. She's Gen Z, so she's probably delusional. But you know, what would she know? She only lives in Hawaii. Uh-oh. We got another video from a Howley. I'm just kidding, for Howley. You know what a Howley means? It's basically a white person that lives in Hawaii. Oh, but let's see. I think she gives us a really 10-minute good update, which I only listened to part of because she talks a lot.
Shocking, or maybe not. Did you about the fires? Did you hear that?
No, I haven't.
The government of Hawaii states their goal is to rebuild and make the entire island of Maui the first smart island.
There it is. The first smart island. Glad she mentioned that. So the smart island will be 103,000% electric, green, shit like that. Not sure how they're gonna power it because there's no nuclear power plant, but that's beside the point. And they want to make them 15-minute cities. Those who don't know what a 15-minute city is, their ideal way for people to live, bubbles. Everything you're gonna need is within 15-minute walk from where you are. So you really have nowhere to go but your city block. And that's gonna be like, oh shit, Hunger Games! Because you're gonna have to redistrict. Just kidding. I think that's what Hunger Games sounds like. Anyway, what's up, Rockstar? Anyway, yeah, let's get back to this lady talking her nonsense conspiracy theory shit.
The entire island governed by AI is outlined in the Hawaii Digital Government Summit of 2023 that they plan to host next month on September 25th, 2023 on Maui.
Okay.
Wow. Now they're going to come to the rescue for this horrible problem.
Right. Not right now.
Last January in 2023, there was a Smart City Conference in Maui to turn Maui, again, into the Smart City Island.
No way.
Pushing everything electric, making 15-minute smart cities.
Oh.
And there was also a contract last year to build a high-rise condo complex and businesses in Lahaina, which
that I didn't know about.
is a historic town that couldn't have any new development in this area.
Oh,
but now it's
now it
demolished.
can.
So now,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
we have to rebuild, right?
Oh yeah, me too. I think.
We spent the morning trying to find places to volunteer to help. We feel helpless. There's so much going on. There's people who need assistance. We went to the War Memorial Shelter, which we learned has been taken over by FEMA.
Motherfuckers.
A whole bunch of supplies. People do not know where they're going. They don't trust that they're actually going to be delivered to people in need.
Just like Puerto Rico.
In past FEMA situations, after disasters, they found containers full of supplies that were never given to the people.
Again, just like Puerto Rico.
And if you go to the War Memorial, people are being told to go there if you need assistance. They are turning everyone away, saying that it's not a distribution center. It's a shelter, and unless you're checked into this shelter, you will receive nothing. And I will say, for donations on the island, please be considerate of your fellow humans, because there's a lot of moms that need diapers and wipes and formula, and everything has been purchased and given as donations, and now it is being hoarded by Red Cross and FEMA, not being distributed to those who actually need them. So ship things in from Amazon. I shared today that you could ship things to the Maui Food Bank. There's some other local organizations that will actually get your items to the people.
Message.
And FEMA is also making people sign paperwork just to receive assistance. We did find
that sounds familiar.
Word of mouth, a place where we could.
Last time they did that, well, that I remember, they had people sign for assistance not because it was a natural disaster, but because the government's there to help because they fucked something up.
Donate our time today, and we assisted the Hungry Heroes of Hawaii at Buzz's Wharf in Ma'alia. I said that right. Great place. If you need donations or if you have some to drop off, you can. It's a staging area right before the road is shut down to get into the Lahaina area. They were not allowing anyone through unless you had, if you had a supply truck full of supplies to help the people in these areas.
Right.
You were not allowed through unless you had a specific contract or permission from a certain agency to come through. And
what agency?
Where did you get that permission from? So lots of people are being denied. They're trying to come in with supply trucks to assist.
Tell us that agency.
This
Dox them.
Hungry Heroes, they were able to get some trucks in yesterday. They were supposed to meet with the mayor and officials. They said they waited around for 5 hours being told to move to different locations, and then they were eventually kicked out and said, why are you even here? And they were trying to coordinate to drop off and deliver supplies. And they can get to the supplies, but there's nowhere to drop them off or give them to anybody because everything is so disorganized. They also brought 150 meals, cooked meals,
150?
to help the people who need them. And they were denied because it was not cooked in a commercial kitchen. So not being allowed to distribute. All the roads in and out of Lahaina are blocked except for
MSR.
specific personnel, and it's up in the air. We don't know anymore. Maybe if you're a resident with an ID. That was open yesterday, and they supposedly shut it back down after a few hours because people were trying to take photos of the damage that happened in Lahaina. Kevin.
So in order to get in, you have to have an ID. Sounds like the pigs, wink, wink, moved to the house and wouldn't let anybody else in unless they were that part of that group with the pigs. Some of you might
Heaven
get that, some
forbid
of you might
that they
not.
go to their
We'll
houses
find
and
out
do
later.
anything. There is a looting going on, and not just in the Lahaina area, also in Kula. There are boats making supply runs. Some of them are saying that they've had to push through barricades to get in and deliver supplies because, again, the government officials are trying to shut down local assistance. It seems like they only want FEMA and they only want Red Cross. Yet
Because
when
they
you
can
check
funnel
people
money.
on the ground, where's FEMA? Where's Red Cross? They're not doing anything. They're not distributing the supplies. I did hear that there are supplies on the ground in Lahaina finally. There are some locals who set up Starlink stations so that they could get back online. Power's been out, water's out.
Set up what? Did she say Starlink? It's kind of interesting.
They haven't had internet. And so they're starting to bring in some Starlink so people can get back online. They're bringing in supplies. People are able to access some food. Again, not a lot of information coming out of that area yet. There's, again, some people, you might be able to find other videos of exact footage. We talked to some people today, and a firefighter said that he alone pulled out over 80 bodies. And I think that's the count that they're giving you for the death toll. We're estimating that it's over 1,000 people. That's horrific. Why is the government being so hush-hush and shutting everything down and not letting people know what's really going on? When they had their very first press conference a couple days after the tragedy, all that the officials could do that I heard was blame everybody else, say it wasn't me, it wasn't my responsibility. If you didn't know, there were no alarms that went off. Even though we have tsunami warning systems set up all over the island, they could have been turned on, but they weren't. And there was a fire in Lahaina in the morning.
But
the firefighters put it out and said it was 100% out. Well, from again reports, they're saying that that was a fire that restarted itself and ended up taking out the entire city.
Oh, you know, the one they
Interestingly,
put
the
out. Okay.
McDonald's and Burger King and Safeway and Walgreens are all still standing, but all the historic buildings, all the historic downtown, all of it is demolished and all the houses gone. But
wait a second. I'm going to make sure I heard that right, because that sounds pretty fishy.
Historic downtown, all of it is demolished. And interestingly, the McDonald's and Burger King and Safeway and Walgreens are all still standing, but all the historic buildings, all the historic downtown, all of it is demolished and all the houses gone. But those commercial big box stores are still there.
It's because, you know, these special big box stores, they have this bubble around them to where nothing affects them, you know, unless it's a peaceful protest in like Minneapolis. But they have this bubble around them because they're a sign of hope. What more do you want after your entire house has been burned down than a Big Mac with extra large fries, if they have extra large? Don't forget the Diet Coke. Play.
And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the response. As a resident of Kihei, on Tuesday night, we could see the fire burning in Lahaina. Check my page. I posted photos from our lanai. We had ash raining down on us. It was like in our eyes, blowing around. And we could smell smoke very strong, yet no alerts. We had no idea if we were safe, if we were in the line of fire. We knew that the subdivision across the
Line of
interstate
fire.
highway from
Get
us,
it.
Maui Meadows, had been under an evacuation notice, but we didn't know about us concerning because we were having ash fly all over the place. We just talked to a local that lives in Kula tonight, and he said that there was a power outage. There was no cell service because the winds were so strong and they blew down the power lines.
Gotcha.
And they could see the flames and fire like right coming up. And many people did lose their houses in that area too. But again, no alert
What if
system, no
burning
way
down
for them
those
to
power
know.
lines and shit disabled
Is
the
it
alarm
safe? How do we even
systems?
get out?
That's
Where's the
fucking
fire
weird.
going? They could see it and just really.
People on ground versus the mainstream media. All we know is there's a wildfire and it caused this much billions of damage, and we will rebuild. We will rebuild. We will. Hold on.
Really
Rebuild.
a horrific situation. So what we're being told on the news is not what's actually happening. I feel like from every angle, the government is doing everything they can to shut down all grassroots efforts and all of the locals' efforts to assist in any way, shape, or form, coming up with all these excuses why we can't help. And people in the community are coming together. They're amazing here. They love their neighbors. They're doing everything they can. And then it's red tape, all this bureaucracy going on, all of these other ulterior motives. Everybody's worried about, the government's worried about getting FEMA funding.
Yes.
And also be on alert. If you sign your property over to FEMA, you may never get it back.
Yes, because they're helping.
Look at what has happened to past disasters. It is a huge scam.
They've
Yes,
done
they're
it
going to give you
before.
money. And then will you
Yeah,
ever be able to
well
get your
under what
property or
they should
rebuild
be.
or anything? It is questionable. And I ended up picking up some people that needed to go to the shelter. There's still people sleeping in vehicles or without a vehicle in parking lots. And I drove around for 45 minutes trying to find a shelter. The ones that they said were still open were closed 2 days ago. And I finally found one in Kahului at the high school, dropped them off. War Memorial, the one that's overrun now by FEMA, supposedly is full.
There to help.
And they didn't need any help. We tried to help. So it's chaos. And I would say that the saviors of the situation are the people, the locals who live here that aren't involved with the government agencies. They're actually pushing through, breaking laws to try to get people help who desperately need it. So please share this, get the word out that they are not telling us the truth of what's going on at all. Look at some of my other posts for more information about what's going on behind the scenes here, and I'll try to keep you updated since we're actually located in Maui.
We all know shit like this happens. But if it wasn't for social media, and this is why social media is good sometimes, not all the time, because you have idiots that want to go, I don't like this guy. I'm going to tell everybody about him. Well, since you told everybody about me, I don't like you either. And then you have guys like, oh, what are these two motherfuckers doing? They look like they don't want help. I'm going to pick sides. And then you have chaos. Make sense? No. Another video. No, I think we got the gist of it. No, this one you should. They're going to tell you who and... So, if you are in support of this, they are here to tell you who you should know about and who's trash. Well, obviously we know FEMA, Red Cross, trash, big money laundering scheme. You know the government's pretty good at that. They love to money launder.
Donate to these organizations. Do not, I repeat, do not donate to FEMA. Do not donate to Red Cross. Please do not donate to them. If you want to donate to a place that is more effective, I would suggest the Maui Food Bank or Hawaiian Community Foundation or CNHA. And if y'all need, there are also locals who have shared their Venmos and GoFundMes who are actually there. But the only thing with that is some of the shelves, there's actually not a lot to buy. So then they would need to go further out. But even then, just do not donate to these organizations. They are blocking road access. They are controlling road access to control the supplies. And they are only allowing supplies to go to those who choose to leave the land, like, and relocate to the high school. And if you don't, then you don't get supplies.
She sounds like but the white lady. No. 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 That's just a coincidence. Just a coincidence, guys. And since there was such a coincidence, let's see if this one's a coincidence because I actually haven't listened to this one yet. So this will be a first time for both of us. Like we're both topping our cherry on this one.
Specifically Lahaina.
Oh, let me turn
my
it up.
family and I live up Lahaina Luna. We were evacuated during the fire. We're currently displaced. We are sleeping on the floors of the most amazing family members.
Oh. And this is the thing why I love being an islander. Except for like commercial areas. We take care of each other. Right? Well, pretty much we're all one big family. I know in Guam, I don't know if it's changed, but when I was a little kid, we would every Friday, every Saturday, somebody in the neighborhood would have a party, block party. Every single person was invited. Old people played mahjong. Us kids, we were playing basketball and sneaking beers. You know, good shit. Really don't know where I was going with that, but it's a big family. We take care of our own. You mean kind of like, family first, America first? I'll shut up.
I just wanted to come on here and say, do not believe what is being told on the news.
Also,
86 casualties is not true.
Wait, what?
The actual count is estimated somewhere between 500 and 1,000 people. People were not in.
Wait a second. I'm sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. So you mean they're underreporting medical issue or medical non-living people? I've never heard of the government doing that.
Not informed.
They normally overinflate.
Except for 5 minutes before they had to evacuate. And this was via a cell phone message, an emergency alert. Our town has evacuation sirens for tsunami installed that are working, actively working, and they were not sounded.
Power went out, remember?
Children home from school while their parents worked.
Third time hearing that.
Our kapuna will only have access to landlines. These are the people that they're pulling out of houses right now. That they're pulling out of rubble. Our whole town is gone. Our families are forever changed. And I go to load up its supplies to bring them into Lahaina to help out our family members that are still there. And there's tourists getting off the plane wearing puka shells. Do not come to Maui.
That's fucking insane. I didn't realize there was still tourists hanging around. I thought they all left. That's actually bullshit when you think about it. Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see why I don't trust the media and I believe focus. That we are watching, and it's weird because George Orwell was like a genius who predicted stuff, wrote it in books, and people blew him off. Took it as fiction. But I just explained to you how, the rich people are allowed in because you're going to have your ID. Relates to Animal Farm. And the fact the media is guiding misinformation, or the media is guiding information, falls in 1984. And the Big Brother's always watching with that Starlink. Telling you, I don't trust Starlink about as far as I can throw a car. that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's the evidence that I brought for you today that I decided I would just let y'all know. I'm not telling y'all how to think. Just the information's there. I'm telling y'all to think. And that's what I like to do, because if the day you stop learning is the day you should, I don't know why my fucking Zoom is going retarded. Or not Zoom, but Focus. But that's it. I'll see y'all next time. This is Avi, and this has been the Ministry of Truth. Or, if you're on YouTube, Rumble. Look at my eyes, they're glowing.